Speaker Leakers Radio, we in the building right now. I am your man, DJ Lay Low. It's going down in Spotlight Wednesdays where we try to put the spotlight on an influential person within their community. And today we have my guy right here in front of us, my man Glasses Malone. What up, Glasses?
What up, Lay? What's happening?
Cooling, man. As we wait on the other what I was about to say, other radio voices to get online, we're just going to go ahead and start it off. We kind of had to do a rewind real quick.
Yeah,
but for the people who don't know who Glasses Malone is, let them know.
Man, just a world-renowned player from the east side of the West Coast, making the impossible possible.
Definitely. So for those who don't know, man, Glasses, he done been in Akron. He done came down, kicked it with your boy for weeks. It was a couple weeks, right?
At least two.
Yeah, definitely, man. Came down, ate with the family and everything like that. The people want to know how did you get your start in the game?
As far as the hip hop industry,
yeah, as far as the hip hop industry.
So I put out one mixtape. I don't like calling it a mixtape because it was an album called White Lightning. The album itself, I had a great marketing strategy. I might have moved through 30 or 40,000 units of the actual tape. People responded.
Right.
Next thing I know, record deals is coming out of the clouds and people want to do business with me. That's how I got my start in the industry.
Definitely. Where you from?
So obviously everybody knows I'm from Watts. I'm from a gang in Watts. My father owned a house in Watts. But if we're being totally honest, my mom owned a house in Compton. So technically I'm from both Compton and Watts, but this Watts. Yeah.
Definitely. Growing up in Compton, and like you said, you was explaining to me that your mom raised you in Compton, your father basically raised you in Watts. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
I split up when I was really young.
How was that transition from Compton to Watts? As you explained to me, I'm gonna let you explain it to them.
So in Compton, I grew up in a community called the Richland Farms. The Richland Farms was ranches that was still established in Compton. So you grew up riding horses and learning about animals. And obviously it's Compton. So the community itself still has its military and its own ethical codes and the way it conducts itself and defend its right to earn. So that's one experience. Going to Watts is probably the scariest and worst place in Los Angeles County. The poverty makes a different desperation. There's 4 housing projects within a mile of each other. So that same, community military is a lot more desperate and things happen over what some might call more primitive reasons, and it's more primitive solutions about it.
How did you get in the game?
You grow up in it. My dad lived on 117th Street. My friends would be my homies. My older homies looked out for me and made sure I made it home before the lights came on. When I was doing great in school, they made sure people didn't sweat me. When I decided to throw away my life, they taught me how. So it comes with the territory. You're any real gang member, or I don't want to say real because it's all kind of gang members, but culturally you raised in your community. And as you earn, you become a part of the military to protect that earning opportunity or just your way of life. No different than the military for the United States of America.
True, true. So, like you said, you were really born into it. It's really your friends and family
That's
members
all.
that
Yeah.
that that comes together. And just like anywhere else, they call it a gang if you're more than 10 people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
More than five
And
people,
willing
they consider you a gang.
and willing to commit a crime to advance that agenda.
Yeah, definitely. You're right about that. But how did the musical influence come in? You know what I mean? Was it always in you? Was it, what I mean? Did it come in later in the years? Or was it, what I mean, you was into this and then you just happened to graduate into the music?
My mom is a huge music head. I mean, every Tuesday buying vinyls and CDs and tapes, going to One Stop because her purchases would be more than 20 releases. Biologically, I'm related to Lil Richard. Biologically, I'm related to Sam Cooke. So genetically, it was there. But I definitely didn't grow up thinking about being a MC, a rapper, or a producer in hip hop for sure. That definitely is in my early to mid 20s when I decided to go through that journey.
Right. Okay. Um, Through that journey, you was able to land some type of deal with Cash Money Records. Tell us how that came about.
Back to that project White Lightning I released, it caught the ears of Mac 10. Mac 10 is from Inglewood, 10, 15 minutes from Compton and Watts. He caught a hold to the buzz, and we ended up getting in contact over like what would be called a blog today. I wrote on MySpace about Jay-Z's Kingdom Come album. And we were kind of emailing back and forth. I finally gave you my number, and we had a conversation that lasted 2 or 3 hours. And Mac 10 is a particular type of artist who really was into the low rise scene. He was one of pretty much no rappers I seen when I was low riding and full fledged in the gang banging in the street life, not making music. I would see Mac 10 at different events. He would be the only rapper with a low rider out amongst the people. So that was our connection, completely different. And we hit it off instantly. He passed my CD on to Birdman. Birdman loved it. And they came to me with an idea to do a joint venture for my future releases. It was a no-brainer for me because me and Mac had so much in common when it came to particular drugs we may talk about, Mac being into low riding and really being, even as a rapper, being on Crenshaw or being at certain events and having hop offs with legendary figures like Lil Ernie or, Punchy or a Gangster. You didn't see rappers doing that in the late 90s, early 2000s when I was a teen.
Okay. Is that what sparked your love for the love of cars and stuff like that?
My father raised me drag racing cars since 4 years old. So that
Right.
was my first introduction, hot rod, drag racing. West Coast culturally, that same community, that same military, it's success. Putting together classic Chevrolets and old cars and hitting the country club, which would be Crenshaw Boulevard, is like a rite to passage. So it started off with my father, you know, getting me into racing and then doubled down because again, gangbanging and selling drugs culturally comes with this is how you become a part of that fraternity, that street fraternity, low riding. So my father started me and the culture doubled down on it.
Man, that's crazy. Fast forwarding, man. In 2019, you brought this new project, man. Rest in peace, Tupac Shakur, and and all the people that was involved in it. But you brought this concept to music, you know what I mean? And you presented it out there. And me knowing you, I know the creativity that you have, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I know, a little bit of your thought process. Tell us how that record came about.
When I first got into this business, '06, '07, I didn't know what I really was getting myself into. I just was articulate, could hold rhythm, and I had just survived all this craziness, all these stories. So I was able to put that concept onto records. But I had an incredible producer in Guido, Gary, Guido the Nose, who produced. So I didn't have to know much about records. And I had an incredible A&R, which was the game's older brother, Big Face. I didn't know anything about records or hip hop at that point. Fast forward 2011, 12, my DJ Head, started teaching me about BPMs and records. And as I start falling down that rabbit hole and understanding samples and genres and how things work, I just kept falling. I kept falling. I kept falling. It started off with records, and I end up in hip hop, and then I end up in marketing, and realizing hip hop was very much giving people access to a parallel universe culturally that they couldn't have gained on their own. Once I start understanding what my brand represented and how people saw me, I understood the type of ways and the type of things I needed to talk about. So mathematically, the only choice was two choices. It was either make a song. I had to make a song that really gives you my knowledge on gangbanging. So it was two choices. Either I talked about the death of Tupac Shakur because that's one of the largest situations in the world that involved a gang member, or it was option B, a record about starting the LA riots of 92, where some A trays culturally started, one of the most important revolutions and riots in the history of America. Those are the two biggest situations that the world knows happened, but don't know the actual cultural implications of, the communities I represent and how we see things. So it was one of those two things. I just decided on the death of Tupac Shakur because it was closer and more related to music.
Right.
But I did write the other idea. It's called Any White Man, and it's really, really dope.
Hmm. So it started to catch buzz because I listened to it. You know what I mean? And you kind of wrote in third person almost. You know what I mean? As far as telling the story from the other side of the barrel. You know what I mean? And as we seen, it picked up buzz. You know what I mean? It landed you on Breakfast Club. It landed you on different shows, Big Boy Show and stuff like that. What was their how I put it? What was their thought process behind like were they feeling it? Were they like it's controversial or what? You know what I mean? How was you? How were they perceiving that song?
Everybody had a different take. The Breakfast Club, that was my third appearance.
Right.
It was just the first time I think people paid attention that I was on the Breakfast Club. That was my third time on the Breakfast Club. I think MVE and Charlemagne was pretty much open. They are of the culture, so naturally they gave it a different ear. They didn't personalize the situation. It wasn't personal. They understood art and were a lot more open. Big Boy,
Yeah.
that was my first time ever being on Big Boy's morning show. And Big Boy is a personal friend. One of his co-hosts, I don't think she was hearing it at all, but she's also not of the culture.
Right.
She didn't grow up in the communities. She didn't grow up culturally doing the things that we were doing. So I expected her to have more of a mainstream
Right.
take that her favorite artist or an artist that she looked up to is beyond reproach in these situations. That's the natural mainstream perspective. Some people are bigger than the program, but in our culture, nobody's bigger, no man is bigger than the program. So I expected to have what I had on that conversation. And fans are different. Some fans, I have
I know
fans
you got a lot.
in my life.
I know you got a lot of different conversations off top of that one. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
it was needed, is what they don't understand. Because, like you said, there's always two sides to every coin. You know what I mean?
What's
And
crazy
so,
is, what's crazy
go ahead.
is that's what hip hop does. Like, imagine if NWA did not talk about the struggles, our perspective of what policing was. Imagine if they said, okay, well, the mainstream perspective is policing is awesome. It protects us and it gets our cats out the tree and make sure burglars don't rob our house. You know, policing at that time in 87, 88, policing was considered heroes. They were the heroes of America. And you have five brothers out of Compton coming out saying, fuck the heroes. But as time went on,
Nobody's bigger. No man is bigger than.
as time went on,
But as time.
as time went on, the Rodney King beating happens 4 or 5 years later. You
Right.
know, you now you're seeing police brutality and an excessive use of force, and now that song makes all the sense in the world. So
Yeah.
I was prepared for it. You know, doing your history lessons prepare you for the future.
Yeah, definitely. I was I was having a discussion with somebody, right? And
Yeah,
it was basically it's more of an agreement with what you did, because nobody ever thought about the other side of the story. You know what I mean? Nobody ever wanted to really hear the other side of the story. You know what I mean? So the creativity behind the record was tremendously dope. I get that to you. You know what I mean? Everything you did about that record was dope. Um, but that one of your most highly rated songs? You know what I'm saying?
I think it's the most important song of my career, the most important record of my career. Um, what's funny is I've had hit records,
Right.
I've had gold records, but that was the first time I put a pit like a brick in the pillar, that we call hip hop. Like, you'll be able to go 20, 30, 40, 50, 100 years and they'll talk about that song. They'll be like, remember that guy? Or somebody will say, remember when Glasses Malone? And that's what hip hop is all about to me. Dragging people into that parallel universe, so they could get a peek at how we live, Lay. That's all.
You know, for sure, for sure. Moving on forward, man. Now, I ain't even gonna say now. You're still out here. You've been in the game, like you said, since early 2000s, doing your
Not
thing.
early, like
Early,
mid to late.
about more mid to late, about
Yeah,
2006,
I got my
2007.
deal in 2007.
Okay. The generations have changed. How do you remain relevant in a time in this era? Let's say it like that. How do you continue to remain relevant in this era?
Relevance just comes with being dope and being pure too. If you stay focused on being great, dope, and pure, whether somebody's 9 or 90, they'll have an opinion on your art, on your work. That's my focus. I just focus on being dope and pure.
Mm. What are some of your inspirations? You know what I mean? Or who inspired? Who made Glasses who he is today?
Man, that's tricky because it happens in tears. Um, growing up as a kid, Magic Johnson, Roy Jones Jr., Eddie Murphy, right? As a kid in the music business, my number one influence initially probably would be Scarface. Over the last 10 years, Snoop has emerged as really important to what I do creatively. Jay-Z has always remained important to what I do. Really, my job is just to deliver pure culture. So things that deliver culture and concentrate. Chief Keef, Bone, people who really figure out a way to deliver their environment pure become my greatest inspirations.
That's dope. We'd like to welcome my man Lex Lou. This is one of our other hosts on the show, man. My man Lex Lou done clicked
Lex, what's
in.
happening?
What's going on?
Glasses.
What's going on, everybody? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear
Yeah,
you.
we
I
can
hear you.
clear.
Okay. Yeah, I was listening in. I would actually have some I was on a meeting or whatever, but I was listening in on how he was talking about how he picked his subjects to write his songs about. And he was picking topics about things that the whole world would know about and be able to relate to. And I thought that was real creative and dope. Is that the same concept you kind of use with this new Kanye record about Kanye?
So y'all in Lay is in Ohio, in Akron. Where you at?
I'm in Akron too.
So shout out to Akron, birthplace of Steph Curry.
LeBron.
Right. Hey, we ain't even gonna get into that just yet. Hey, just go ahead. Go ahead.
When you expect something from Los Angeles, the West, I know what you're expecting. I can give you anything, just like Akron, Los Angeles is diverse. You know, it's people here that think they from New York. It's people here that are all kind of shit culturally. But when you come to Los Angeles, culturally, you know what you're looking for. My job is to deliver what you're looking for from a true perspective, which is mine, and I need to deliver it pure. When I go to 99th and St. Clair, I expect it to be despair and desperate when I'm in Cleveland. And I
Right.
get that. When I go to Chicago, I expect it to be violent and shooting, and I get that. So my job is to deliver Los Angeles culture. I have to find different facets of it because you've been overexposed. Obviously, now it's been 30 years, 35 years since probably NWA. You've been overexposed. So I have to find different facets of culture. Tupac Must Die was morality, where if you jump somebody, you know, it might cost you your life. That's kind of like common theme around this motherfucker. Kanye should have never married that bitch is rooted in the fact that culturally, we have been raised to understand you cannot turn a hoe into a housewife. If Dr. Dre is mad at me because I released his song, it would be his fault. Culturally, you corrupt, sugar-free, quick. You have raised us to believe you cannot turn a hoe into a housewife. So me passing on this information to my fellow brother from the Midwest, he may have not got that cultural lesson. It's my job to inform him, brother, Ray J slutted this woman out, you know, in front of everybody.
But that was part of his fantasy. Him watching
Which is
that video was part of his fantasy. He wanted
which
to be
is
next.
weird because how do you dream about somebody that
Right.
another man is slutting out? Like if a dude nutted in a girl face, I would not dream about her.
Great.
And You know, before I go too far, if I'm Kanye, shit, I'm Glasses Low. I'm Glasses Malone. I think I can have any bitch Ray J got. No disrespect to my brother from Centerview, feel me, from Carson. You know, he is Brandy's little brother and he's a talented person, but I could fuck any bitch Ray J got. So I know Kanye has to know he's Kanye West. You can't dream about something that's, you know, that Ray J was knocking down on. I'm not dreaming about nothing that no man put his penis in. Because that means if you got her, I could have her. Now, if it's Barack Obama, if him and Michelle break up, okay, that's different.
You said that's goals.
Culturally,
that's goals.
We from two different backgrounds, and she might not really love this crip in the way she should. But for sure, if Ray J got her, I know I got play. So for Ye to even dream about a woman that Ray J was slutting out lets me know that, you know, he needs his brothers to have his back and to keep it trill with him.
Right.
Be honest with him. So my record was just made by me and the homies because we felt he needed the advice. I like to consider it a conscious record, a very much like my man Rob Markman called it, a cautionary tale of why you don't turn hoes into housewives. I don't care what they saying today, how they're trying to pacify slutting. If you do, you know, if women don't want to do things that are respectful, they don't get my respect. Now, I'm not going to disrespect them, but for sure you're not getting my respect. You will be the slut you are.
Right.
I think that's fair.
In your last comment, you mentioned a lot about the LA culture. And I spent a lot of time out there and I've taken people out there, and from watching the movies and watching the videos and everything, everybody got this picture of LA. But when they get out there, it's different. You know what I mean? What do you think the biggest misconception is about the LA culture?
It doesn't look bad. It's actually beautiful.
I asked people, I said, man, y'all got all these nice houses and all this other stuff. What is y'all, you know what I mean? Y'all got palm trees, man. What is y'all mad about?
Man, it's the scariest thing in the world because, again, like when I'm in Cleveland and I'm on 99th and St. Clair, it makes sense. It's like, I get why these niggas tripping. Right. When you go to New Orleans, you know, when they had the wars and the projects, you're like, oh, I get why these niggas tripping. Certain parts of Houston, you know, you go to the projects in New York, you be like, oh man, you getting those stairways and it smell like urine and piss and shit. Yeah, I see why these niggas tripping. LA is one of the only places I don't understand why these niggas is tripping. But because these niggas is tripping, I'm tripping.
Right.
And I believe the biggest misconception is you just don't know when you in the hood. Like you have no idea. You'll think you somewhere. It's beautiful. It's palm trees and some nigga is trying to rob you currently.
Right.
Some nigga's hitting you up and this nigga is serious. So the attitude don't necessarily go with the lifestyle. But I contribute it to, it's a cowboy mentality. This is the Wild Wild West. I don't care how many years this came forward.
But back when I used to come out there and you take off from LAX, you get up in the air and you see this big concrete playground, jungle, projects everywhere. All that's gone now. You know what I mean? All the places that used to look like the hood don't even look like the hood because they didn't really like cleaned it up and everything. And when I came back out there this time, it was just like totally different for me. You know what I mean? So yeah. I get it. I get it totally what you're saying about that. Like LA it ain't what you think. You know what I mean? And,
man, it is deceptively fucked up.
For sure.
Hey, I want to get into that track, man. Before we get into it, I want to tell us about a couple of the features that's on this track.
So I'm working with a group called the LA Giants, and these are Player Ham's sons. So they're hip hop royalty. Player Ham is originally Penthouse Players Clique, one of the guys who taught Quick how to rap. Really talented MC, man. This man is amazing. And his sons are just as amazing. They're like two of the best MCs you'll ever hear from Los Angeles. I mean, Corrupt type MCing, Trade E type MCing, Razcast. They're just unbelievable. So I've been working with them a lot. And of course, the legend, if you're aware of Los Angeles hip hop in any true in any true emphasis, Sugar Free is like a staple in our scene. Sugar Free is,
man, we was all sugar free back here.
yeah, so Sugar Free is like unbelievable. So the Giants consider themselves players because they were raised in the mold of the Penthouse Players clique. Sugar Free is a pimp. I think he's getting his life together now, hopefully. But if not, he has so much game, it's scary. And I like to consider myself somewhat of a player and having experience when it comes to the opposite sex. So the record came together as a conscious record with an edge, and we just let it breathe. It was an idea about all kind of this toxic femininity movement that women got going on, where they're allowing their insecurities to get the better of them. And it's like, okay, well, let me put on some eyelashes. Let me put on some makeup. Let me go see Dr. Miami as some sixth sense of wealth. And it's just, it targets that part of society. And I understood that it just needed a face to the idea. Who is the queen of this idea? And it happens to be this white woman that my man Kanye married. So I wanted to make sure I addressed it and got it out of my system. It's just a barber shop conversation held in public. That's all.
That's dope. We're going to get into the track right now. Introduce your track, Glasses for the people.
GLA $$ Eastside. That's right. This is Glasses Malone. You about to check out my new track. Kanye should have never married that bitch because Kanye should have never married that bitch.
Yes, sir. Here first, Speaker Leakers Radio. Let's get into it.
Yeah. Now, a lot of these misses is going to try to convince you that we misogynistic. Truth is, most of these misses is just misguided. Joe.
First you're dealing with a true West Side Californian. Rest in peace, DMX, here we go again. If your body fake, you don't get a husband in a diamond. Just dick in the cubic zirconian. This how LA crack. I gotta pay you to date you, that's where the game at. You know what, I ain't tripping, I got some cake stack. I was trying to get to know you, but if you a prostitute, bitch, say that. I see you get naked for a grand, why bother? To take you to dinner, your OnlyFans $9. Trying to clown a nigga that couldn't afford to book your flight. You and yourself don't even look alike. Yes, you a hoe, you belong to the street. That's why you subbing who you fucking with Justin LaBoy tweet. Yes, you a hoe, you belong to the street. That's why you subbing who you fucking with Justin LaBoy tweet.
They got some games, I can take a piece. A cough leaves your mouth at 60 miles per hour. Bitch, get the fuck away from me. And what the fuck I look like calling a bitch boo? An average, ordinary motherfucker like you. She came to save you from you. She for show out. She pulled up on me in roller skates, sending you. Sugar free to Peter. Bitch, exercise makes you look better naked, and so does tequila. Look at the bitch stopping traffic like a red light. This is what she doing, what she does, nigga. Air now. And this shit suits you. I don't care about your past, hope. I care about your motherfucking future. What? Church, nigga. Sugar free to pee. I'll pimp on a bitch till he go up. Yeah, pimp on glasses. She belong to the street. Whip rock. Tell me now. Church, nigga, free.
That bitch belongs to the streets.
Yeah, bitch, better sell that thing, don't come fuck with me, though.
That bitch belongs to the streets.
Yeah, bitch, call yourself, come fuck with me, you gon' sell that thing, though.
Now, this is one of them occasions where the homie not doing it right. I see you found you a hoe that you like. But you can't make a hoe a housewife. And when it all boils down, you gon' learn in the end. Keeping that bitch, I had your ass locked in the pen. Cause some judge that handed you lie. Bro, you can't make a hoe a housewife. And I can tell you little niggas from the spirit. Don't do it, bro. Point blank period. I had one. Tried to get serious. Thought I was a little hoe, hands at the piss shit. Future looking clear shit, talking matrimony. Had to thank God when I ran into the homies. Learned the whole hood hit. Bitches ain't shit. Out my fault. Oh, you gotta get so split.
Oh shit, they didn't say the Mac for last. I'd rather die before I give a punk bitch a pass. Yeah, I'm hard on them, Joe. That's what hoes need. Sleeping on the smack and post the fake ass woke me. Yeah, fuck your mama and your sister, bitch. Yeah, I said it while you asking when I text the bitch. Oh, you ready? You ain't ready for the deuce. Oh, you scared of the truth. And you been fucking with your face. Now I'm scared of you. Oh, you thought cutting on yourself was gonna amp something. I just spent 80 on the Chevy trying to rack something. Bitch told me she ain't worried about none of that. Homie got 40 on something trying to run. Man, I know you ain't acting like you hoes worth a little more. I done seen you do a whole lot for a little blow. Try to keep it gangster, but you bitches belong to the streets. And over here, THP, yeah, we playing for keeps. Hey.
That bitch belongs to the streets. That bitch belongs to the streets. Oh yeah. That bitch belongs.
Glasses Malone right there, y'all. Kanye should have never married that bitch. I feel you on that shit though, man. I'm 100% with y'all on that motherfucker, man. Because
and it's weird because
piece of work.
and it's weird because people hear the song and they get so mad, right? But culturally, this is how we were raised to believe this shit. Don't be mad at me. Be mad at Dre and Eazy-E and Ice Cube. They explain this to us as infants, as toddlers. You do not turn a hoe into a housewife. I believe it. Amen.
Every time somebody think they're the exception, it proves that they ain't. They ain't. You know what I mean?
You're gonna wake up and she knocking down Pete Davidson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Embarrassing you and shit and running around the country and making you look crazy, you know. So it's no issue. Like, I love Kim. Kim is cool, you know what I'm saying? But Ray J did let you out on tape. I did see it. So no guy has any business trying to make, you're not an honest woman, so no guy has any business trying to make an honest woman out of you.
Yeah, you heard it first.
Yeah.
Right.
Hey,
go ahead.
That song is LA. I see them going up to that out there. They're going up to that out there. That's LA for sure. And everybody know I love that LA Cali shit. So yeah.
They're starting to make a
classic LA sound right there.
They starting to make a real, produced by Irvin Pope, hooked by Jelly Roll. It's a special joint. It's something shit. It's put together well. It came out really good.
And you got a lot of staples on there. You got a lot, like you said, Jelly Roll. That's a name I didn't heard for years. You know what I mean? Sugar Free, a name I didn't heard for years. Glasses Malone, a name I didn't heard for years. You know what I mean? So it got a lot of staples on there.
And we just wanted to make something for people to remember what the West is about.
Mm-hmm. It's definitely that. It's definitely that.
Even with this new project, man, you got a lot of nice featured artists on this project. Let us know some of those features you got on these.
So the project hasn't came out. The project is actually called Cancel These Nuts. That's the first song from the project. Previously, I released Glass House 1. I'm bringing my whole catalog to streaming apps, Spotify, Tidal, Apple. Glass House 1 was the first project I bought over. People lost their mind. Like, they were so happy to get something that felt so West. But this is the first project, the first record off a project called Cancel These Nuts, all produced by Irvin Pope out of Watts. Irvin EP has played on Kanye stuff, ton of it, Dre stuff. Really, really incredible, player, but an underrated record maker. So we came together and made a whole project. And the project really deals with societal issues. I think about NWA and Public Enemy roughly 40 years ago, and all of their music was focused on, policies and political issues. Currently, we're in this time of society and social. So I focused on giving my articulate expression on what's going on societally. Things I don't agree with. For example, that toxic femininity that's allowing women to walk around here and do 1,000 fake things, expecting real, you know, expecting something real after doing all this fake ass shit. So that was the first thing we tackled. But there's songs on here addressing where we think masculinity is. There's songs on here addressing where we think cancel culture, and obviously the project is called Cancel These Nuts. Niggas don't give a fuck. It's addressing where hip hop is and where the rappers are. It's a really great project. It's really, 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 really good. It's really good.
How many tracks you looking to put on there?
Probably 12 regular. We got a bonus 2 or 3 to go with it.
That's dope. That dope. You got a timeline for when it's coming?
The goal is we started to have everything available for everybody in 90 days. 90 days is a long time. So I would like to say April, but it's all a work in progress. The project is done. We just last little touches, mixing, putting the shoestring through the shoe, tie it up.
Mm-hmm. That's dope. That's dope. What's the future holding for Glasses?
Trouble. Just trouble. I'm naturally a storyteller. That's my gift. Telling more stories, whether it's on music, whether it's through television, whether it's through films, whether it's through comic books, whether it's through novels. Any way I could make sure I deliver the culture to y'all so y'all can have it. That's all I'm doing. But it's obviously trouble comes with that. And so I'm prepared for the trouble.
Okay, I guess he clicked out.
He was
Shit.
gone.
That's what's up.
That's how Rick Ross did Ghost in 85 South. Just dipped out. Wait a minute, nigga.
That was crazy, man. Hey, man, I appreciate you so much, man, for coming on the show, man, blessing us with your presence, period. And
love.
If there's anything that you would tell an inspiring artist coming up, you know what I mean? Any type of notch you can give them, what would you tell them?
If it's a hip hop artist, I tell them, remember, you are a peddler of culture. And for just any other artist, no matter what field, what genre, don't have any fear in making people uncomfortable if it's something rooted in truth. Great artists make society uncomfortable.
That is true. Different sales. You know what I mean? But last question of the day, man. Top 5 dead or alive.
In hip hop or just music?
Period. In Glasses Malone's life. Top 5 dead or alive.
In all genres, that's tough.
We'll go hip hop. We'll go rap.
Okay, that's cool. I'm glad you just shrank it down because I had to think about damn Marvin Gaye or Michael Jackson. This shit was finna get crazy.
Right.
I had to think about Freddie Mercury. I was like, shit. So in hip hop, the top 5 is obviously Jay-Z. I mean, Pac and Biggie are above the list. Let's just start there. They're above the list. So we gonna go Jay-Z. We're gonna go Snoop. We're gonna go Lil Wayne, Tune. We're gonna go Ye, we go M, and we gonna go Ye.
Man, that's a tough list. That's a
the
tough list right
5.
there.
That's the top 5. Now, my top 5, which is better than just the top 5, is Snoop, Face, Hove, Ye, Rick Ross. Those are the 5 artists who I consume the most records from.
Yeah. Fire, man. I appreciate you so much. Let the people know where they can find you at.
Man, I'm Googleable, man. Just Google me. You'll find me there. Find me on Crenshaw Boulevard, man. That's where you can find me. Come hop out.
That's dope. We appreciate you, man. You know what to do, man. You know, we'll link up, send everything you need to send to us, man. We'll make sure we get that on for you, man, and pop that on the station, man. Y'all heard it first, man. Glasses Loke. I always call him Malone, but man, my man Glasses
Malone. That's all.
You know what I'm saying?
My partners call me G-Lo, so it's all good.
Mm-hmm. Make sure y'all tune in to him, man. Find him. Google him. That's what I always tell them, man. Google them, man. Make sure that y'all can find them, man. Everything should pop up for you, man. Once again, bro, we appreciate you, man. I'll be holla at you real soon when we come out there.
My God.
We out. Glasses Malone right there, man, on the Speaker Leakers radio station, man. We just tuned in, man. Spotlight Wednesdays, man. Tell a friend. Each and every Wednesday, man, we will be interviewing or spotlighting somebody that's influential within the community. So make sure y'all tune in. That was my man Glasses Malone, man. Hey, look out for that project, man. For real, you got a lot of talent on there real quick, man. We out of here, man. We'll speak to y'all later. See y'all in a minute. Speaker Leakers.